Welcome to the Addison Manufacturers Apprenticeship Workforce Solutions event. Try saying that 5 times really fast. It's hosted by the Village of Addison and the Addison Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I'm Alyssa Cornelius. I'm the Special Projects Coordinator for the Village of Addison. It's so wonderful seeing so many of you from the community here, and I'm really excited to have all these speakers here today to talk about all the amazing work that we're doing in Addison and across DuPage County. It's National Apprenticeship Week. Today on the agenda, we have speakers from a variety of different sectors, and at the end, we'll present the Village of Addison's Apprenticeship Proclamation. So it is my honor and pleasure to introduce Mayor Rich Veenstra.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for being here, and a special thanks to Alyssa for really pulling this all together. Alyssa did mention the reason we're here is National Apprenticeship Week, but the important question is, why is Addison so involved, and what does it mean to us? Well, Addison is the 4th largest industrial park in Illinois, and it's an economic engine for our community. Prior to the pandemic, we all were aware that there was a critical shortage of skilled labor to meet the needs of a growing industrial sector. The pandemic only exacerbated an already difficult situation, with staffing concerns even more problematic and supply chain issues essentially bringing manufacturers to their knees. The major takeaway from our COVID experience is that offshore manufacturing doesn't meet the needs of our country, but bringing manufacturing back to the States requires an even larger workforce. So what are we doing in Addison to deal with this situation? Addison is a diverse community with a significant population that is underskilled and in many cases forced to work multiple low-level jobs to meet the financial needs of their families. The programs we've developed provide the opportunity for individuals, whether they're graduating high school or they're underemployed adults, to be trained into careers that provide for a better quality of life, improve the socioeconomics of the community, and address the staffing needs of our businesses, truly creating a win-win-win. We realized early on that we had all the pieces, we just needed to pull them together and connect them. So together, we're building the next generation of talent in Addison through education, industry, and community partnerships. We need your involvement, and today we will share how you manufacturing businesses can participate. So now it's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Tim DeLauder, who's representing the Addison Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Tim?
Good morning. And look, I'm Tim DeLauder. I've been on the Addison Chamber for about 25 years or so. I couldn't figure out exactly when I got on it, so I'll just go with 25. We're looking forward to a new year and an overhaul and big changes at the Chamber. Things we're trying to accomplish are new logos, new website, new board, looking for new members, new executive director, and more events that are focused around networking, more collaborative efforts with the industrial area, and with a partnership with the village. Our mission is to be the first choice for businesses in Addison to collaborate together and drive economic development, retraining, and growing local businesses through education. How can you help? Well, you can reach out to us. We have opportunities coming up to tell us what you want out of the Chamber. On November 30th, we have an event at Muggs and Manor, and welcome to join us there, and we are interested again in new blood and new board members. So thank you.
Good morning all. I'm going to start, I don't know if District 88 and Mayor Veenstra is aware of this, but 30 years ago when I started at the Regional Office of Education, the very first district in DuPage County that I was invited into was District 88. So they have always held a very, close part of my heart with them. And I'll tell you something, and they have never, I will say this, they have never disappointed in the 30 years that I have worked with District 88 and with Addison. And I want to just say this. One of the things about District 88 and the Village of Addison is the way everybody works together. I know all of the, I know a majority of the mayors in DuPage County. I work with all the school districts, but you guys really do some very special and great things here. So I just want to acknowledge that. And that's why we're here, because we want to do even greater and more special things here in Addison. And I want to just start off by just sharing something with you. The day before the election, I was with one of the county board members of DuPage, some of the finance people of DuPage, and a couple of other people are at the table with. The county board member had brought with them a student from one of the high schools, not District 88, from one of the high schools who was in a civic AP class, and they were shadowing the county board member for the day. And we're waiting for others to join us at the table, and I started talking to the young lady, and I said, what year are you in? She said she was a senior. I said, what college or university are you looking at? What's your major? And she just looked at me and she says, I don't know. I don't know yet. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting. So I started talking to her about the pathways and, apprenticeships. I go, have you been exposed to any of this? And she said, no. The woman next to her, which was from the county, the woman next to her said, well, I have 4 kids, 2 in college and 2 that got out of college. I wish I had known about these pathways and these apprenticeships and all of this. It really would have helped. And she had mentioned in an efficiency way too, because what she was telling me about her college expenses and things like that. She says, I wish I could have exposed my children even more to opportunities. And I say this because there definitely is a need. We know this. And we've been at this a long time, have we not, in education? And it's worked for a little while, it hasn't worked. Well, we really truly do believe that when we're looking at this from a regional approach, we go a little bit deeper and a little bit wider with this work. And I think that's been very helpful to the success of this. I've been at the table, and I've been at the table with, and I will say one of my great friends was Superintendent Scott Helton from District 88. He and I hosted, several events, multiple events, on trying to bring businesses and education together with some limited success, I'll be honest with you. And so my takeaway from my last 30 years in trying to do this work is that there's education and there's business. And guess what? Sometimes we don't speak the same language. And so I think the model that we have, that we've created, is really bringing the players together, helping to speak the same language. We're very grateful that we're partners with GPS, with the College of DuPage, a wonderful partner for many, many years. But doing this in a way that provides a greater efficiency, much more, and we believe with some really good successes as well too. So basically, what we've been doing, and what we recognize is there's really a need in our schools for more exploratory, opportunities for our students to get them into the businesses, to get them into manufacturing and IT and cargo logistics and, all of these types of opportunities to really get them to get a feel for what it might be like and if they would like to take advantage of some of these opportunities. And there's another piece to this that I also want to bring up. I've worked with the Workforce Investment Board, okay, and I've had grants with them. And we're very limited with the students that we can bring on board through our grants. Very limited. It's not accessible to all of our students. One of the beautiful things about the partnership and the relationship that we have is that it's accessible to every student in DuPage County. It is accessible to them. It creates greater equity. We've got diversity. There's greater accessibility. So we're really pretty excited about the work that we're doing and the continuation of this work that we're doing as well. As I mentioned, multiple industries. We have curriculum. We're working on credentials with our students. There's lots of student supports. We give them feedback on their progress. There's assessments. There's all kinds of great opportunities. And this is about aligning to post-secondary work and credentialing as well, too. So this isn't saying, you still want to go on to college? Go on to college. You want to get more credentialing? Let's go over to COD. So we're really looking at this, as I said, from a much more holistic perspective. And I'm just going to say this. We need you. There's a lot of kids out there. We have a lot of kids. We have 150,000 students in DuPage County. We do work with our private schools as well, too. But I just want to say, we need you. We'd love to have you come on board with us. I think this is a wonderful, exciting opportunity. The time certainly is now. And what's stopping us? Let's just think about it. You need a talent pool, and I'll just say this. We have one. So thank you. Thank you all for being here. I said all those wonderful things about District 88, and then I forgot to introduce the great Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum, Lisa Segalis. Lisa, come on.
All right. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to take a second to introduce members of our team that are here with us. We have our Director of Community Relations, Danny Brink, in the room. And we also have Ms. Jenny Kowalski. She's the department head of CTE at Addison Trail High School. And I'd also like to take a second to thank the mayor and the Village of Addison for inviting us here and to be able to share the great work we do and to hopefully make some more connections with everyone in the room. So in District 88, we're committed to making sure students are college and career ready. We continue to focus on teaching skills and offering learning experiences to achieve that goal through providing multiple and flexible pathways for students. District 88 partners with colleges, universities, and local businesses to expand these opportunities, and we look forward to continuing to enhance these initiatives. I'll just take a few minutes to talk through our district commitment and all the initiatives we've created. So we do have a youth apprenticeship course in District 88. It's available to juniors and seniors at both Addison Trail and Willowbrook, and students in this course receive credit, training, and certification in OSHA 10, along with the resume, interview, and soft skills preparation for an apprenticeship program and a placement in Addison. Apprentices interview at these local companies, and once hired, earn an average of about $15 an hour. Participants are able to gain experience in manufacturing, and specifically general manufacturing, industrial maintenance, CNC, and machining. We also have expanded our apprenticeship to IT, and so the students are getting experience in software, app, game design, network and security, database management, and data science. So we've had this program in District 88 for about 3 years now. We are dedicated to growing it, and students in this course also qualify for free college credit and paid job training through Project Higher Ed. We also our students also have the opportunity to attend the Technology Center of DuPage. So we have a lot of options for our students. And at the Technology Center of DuPage, they leave for half the day, either AM or PM, and it's vocational training. And our students get training and certifications in cosmetology, automotive, construction trades, criminal justice, emergency or EMT, fire science, HVAC, medical assistant, multimedia and TV production, nursing assistant, cooking, and welding. And this year we have about 80 students in the program. We've always capped it in the past, but due to the initiatives and our dedication to really helping the students get into these vocational programs, we open the registration to any student. So having about 80 students is really a powerful number. Another thing we did in District 88 is we waived graduation requirements for students in vocational programs. So if they would like to be released to go to work and do an apprenticeship, we can waive their PE class or some sort of other college, some graduation requirements so that they can be freed up to go and have those experiences. We've also been working hard on the back end to allow these students as many experiences as possible as well. So we have hosted college and career fairs, employment fairs at the schools. We have organized field trips to the International Manufacturing Show back in, I believe it was September. We took the students to the ComEd Career Day, and we've also visited SWD, Symbol Institute, and then Project Higher Ed. So we're just trying to expose as many of our students to these opportunities as possible, as much as we can. So that was through October. We are rescheduling and resetting ourselves for second semester to keep creating these experiences for our students. And then finally, there's a group of us, each school leaders, department heads. We meet weekly to talk about workforce development. We meet on Wednesdays at 11:45, and we invite all the partners and the workplaces to come in and speak to us and kind of share what you offer so that we can pass that on to our other teachers and then also to our students. There's a QR code right there that if you're interested in working with us, that QR code takes you to a form where you would put your information in, and then we will contact you. We'll also be contacting you to create a video if you'd like, explaining and talking about your workplace, and we will be sharing those with the students. So more to come. My card is on the table there if you want to call me or email me instead. That'll work too. All right? So thank you for your time. I hope to hear from a lot of you. I will now pass the mic over to Erin Strickland from SWD.
I'm going to take a look at my slides that are on here as well. So good morning, everyone. My name is Erin Strickland. I am the Director of Human Resources at SWD right here in Addison, Illinois. Quick overview of what we do. We are a metal finishing plant. So while we're in manufacturing, we don't actually make anything. We just make things better. We process nuts, bolts, screws, clips, any type of fastener. Okay, and what we do with that is we do a metal finishing process. So it could be a black oxide or a phosphate in our metal finishing department. It could be a paint coating in our dip spin department, or we may sort it. So we have over 30 sorting machines that use cameras and lasers to really separate, hey, the threads aren't correct on this part, or maybe there's damage to the part, different things like that. So that's what we do. We opened in 1980 right here in Addison with 2 employees and 1 black oxide line. By the mid-90s, we had about 100 employees, and today we're sitting at about 230 employees in a 200,000 square foot facility. So a lot of growth right here in Addison. But with that, we have to staff, right? And all of the industry partners here know how hard it is in the staffing world. So if you want to switch the slide. What are our challenges, right? So it's a tough hiring market. It was a tough hiring market before 2020 happened, and it was just really shown through 2020 what our challenges are and how hard it is to find the right employees. Even when unemployment was hitting an all-time high, we still couldn't find the people with the skills that we needed to staff our lines and repair them and really help our business thrive and grow. We have an aging workforce. The labor force has a lack of soft and hard skills, and younger generations view manufacturing careers as not an option. A lot of the time that is just because they haven't been exposed to it. They don't know it exists, which really creates a challenge for us. I borrowed this data from Manpower where they show that the challenge shortage, 75% of employers say they can't find the people that they need for their organization, okay? And that doesn't just affect manufacturing, it affects industries across the board. Even us in manufacturing, we need IT people, but we struggle to fill those roles as well. There has been a disconnect over, the last 20, 30 years, I think, between the school districts and what employers are really looking for. And we really need to try to bring those together to find a solution. So what I can talk about is, what is SWD doing? Next slide. Yep. So we have a lot of different initiatives that we do. We partner with the Parents Alliance Employment Project to find people with disabilities, internships, and jobs. We're manufacturing, we don't have tons of jobs that we can put people, but we look at what their abilities are and see if we can find a role for them. We partner with World Relief out of Carroll Stream. They help refugees find employment. That's one of our newer initiatives, to find people to staff our lines. We do school tours and career fairs. So we, just a couple weeks ago, had over 30 students from Addison Trail and Willowbrook High School come view our facility. A lot of those students had never seen a manufacturing facility. They didn't know what they were walking into, and just letting them know that, hey, these jobs are available is super important. We revamped our internal new hire training program to try to give people in the community the skills that we need and get them ramped up as quickly as possible. And then we've also worked with Project Hire Ed for their skilled apprenticeship program. That's through College of DuPage. And we were part of the 2019 pilot. And then we also work with GPS, the DuPage Regional Office of Education, to do work-based learning initiatives through a pre-apprenticeship program, as well as coming this spring, we'll be doing an immersive job shadow program for Addison Trail students that are taking Spanish classes for dual credit. They will actually job shadow our employees that speak Spanish and learn about their jobs in Spanish to learn that language and how it's used on the job. So with that, how do we in manufacturing take on student learners, right? We've been told for years nobody under 18 can enter our facilities. Our insurance won't allow it, okay? And that's why we work with our partners at District 88 as well as the other school districts to offer pre-apprenticeship programs for these students. So these students are able to come in at 16 years old. They're taking safety courses and educational courses at their high school, and then they come in around 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon and come work with us for about 2 to 3 hours a day, okay? And it can be kind of a short schedule. It really depends on those students. It gives them work-based learning experience and to really find out if they like working in the industry. We've had 2 students from Willowbrook go through the program, and we have probably learned just as much from them as they have learned from us. I would definitely say that. It's been a great experience overall. At the college level apprenticeship program, that was another need. We're a non-union facility. A lot of the time when people think apprentices, they think these big union shops. That's not what an apprenticeship is. We can work with our partners at College of DuPage where our apprentices are getting the education and the hard skills as well as taking some soft skill courses, and then we provide them the on-the-job training, okay? And then you look at me and it's like, that sounds like a lot of work. Okay? And it was scary walking into it. We didn't know what was going to happen, right? But what I will say is our partners make it easy. I have resources at College of DuPage. I have resources at District 88 that I've literally jumped on the phone and said, hey, here's my challenge. How do we work together to make this work? So it's really been just a great experience. So let me see. Yep. Let's jump to this slide. So keys to success. If you're thinking, hey, this might be an option for me. Leadership support is integral to making it work, okay? So I have to thank Rick DeLauder for really supporting us as we've put these programs through. He's been passionate about District 88, College of DuPage, as well as all of DuPage County for years. And it's just really important to have that leadership support. Willingness to try. We don't have to get it right the first time, okay? We're gonna make mistakes, but if we're willing to try, we're able to make a difference in the lives of the people of our community. And then utilize the partners and resources available. As I said, having that direct line of communication to our partners in the region is super, super important, okay? And prep your team, hear their concerns, and address them. So there are 2 reactions I had out of my employees as I brought them in and said, hey, I'm gonna ask you to mentor a high school student that's gonna train with you for a week, okay? There's fear, okay? That's number 1. They're scared. They're like, what is happening? And the other one is excitement, okay? So they're like, oh, this is pretty cool. I wanna be a part of this. Sometimes they get really excited and then they think about it and the fear jumps in, right? And they think maybe I don't have the skills to work with these high schoolers or work with these young apprentices at the college level. And that's where your partnerships come into place. So both College of DuPage and GPS, who helps with the pre-apprenticeship program, provided training for my internal employees on how to be a mentor and gave them some of those additional soft skills. What this does is allows me to provide them with a free opportunity for growth. In manufacturing, a lot of the time, we have tons of talented employees, but maybe not the positions of mobility to go upwards, to give them those leadership roles. Well, this was an opportunity to provide them with a leadership role and see how that they could thrive in that environment. So it really becomes a partnership and a way to not only connect with your community, the schools, but also to connect with your internal employees and provide that motivation where they want to stay. I want to be part of this. I think that's super important. So benefits of the apprenticeship programs. Free training for our employees. I think that was a huge added benefit. When we talk about return on investment, the amount of money that SWD actually puts into these programs is less than the costs and the value of the trainings that we're receiving from them. So just by putting a little bit of extra time and effort and having those conversations, we're really getting our return on investment across the board. We also have a built-in funnel of talent. So it's not only the students that come to visit on your career fair days or come take a tour, it's when they go home and talk to their parents who live in the community and maybe one of those underemployed people in our community about those job opportunities that they just heard about. I have had Addison Trail students go home and had their parents come in and apply, okay? So it's interesting how that works. You also get that through the teachers at the different schools. As they hear about these programs and the guidance counselors, they will send their students to you, so you have the new upcoming talent. So that's a huge one. And then referrals. So that's another large one. We have a couple apprentices at SWD. One of them was actually a graduate from Addison Trail last year. He referred another friend into the program, and both of them are thriving in their first year in the apprenticeship program. I'm always hearing good things about them. So you really just get those different referrals all the way through. I do like to talk about return on industry a little bit. So one of the things is in manufacturing, I don't want to say we're fighting for talent, we are a little bit, right? But we're competing for that, but we also need to work together, okay? The people that I train today, if they decide to leave SWD at some point, those are the people you are looking to hire and vice versa, okay? And we really need to look at this as a joint effort of how do we make the best workforce possible for all of us, okay? If we sit here on our own island warring against each other, we're never gonna get the talent pipeline that we need, okay? I'd rather have more people in the community that want the jobs, and so we can really pick the people that fit our culture, because the truth is, SWD's culture might not be for everyone, okay? But they might fit in somewhere else, like Pioneer Services is one. I've referred people to Pioneer Services that wasn't a good fit for SWD, but I thought it would be great there, and vice versa. So it's really building that whole community. I think I covered all of my stuff. So now I'm going to actually invite Clayton Borges up to talk with me. Clayton is a former apprentice at College of DuPage because he finished the program in January. So congratulations on that. This fall, he is actually now a mentor for one of our current apprentices. So we really appreciate Clayton, and I'd love him to talk about his experiences with the apprenticeship program.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Clayton Borges. I've been at SWD as a maintenance technician for just over 2 years. And for the past 11 months now, I've just been a full-on maintenance technician. My story starts back in high school. I took a class called Home Improvement, where they taught me basic plumbing, drywall, and residential wiring. And I fell in love with the residential wiring. So from there, I wanted to make a career out of it. But when I went to my guidance counselor, I went to some other resources, I had no resources to go to the trade school or go to the unions. I was on my own. I was confused, and I actually graduated high school with no plans. My mom, she told me, you should probably go to college at some point to figure this out. So I went to COD for a year taking electrical courses, and the one course I took was industrial wiring, where I kind of fell in love with the industrial side of the electrical work. Didn't know what I was going to do after that, but I was going to finish my degree and kind of figure it out from there. One day, my second year of college, I was walking down the hallway and I saw a poster for a program called Project Higher Ed. Just read it a little bit and I decided, you know what, let's give this a go. So I went to the informational meeting and everything they told me was something that I wanted to do. They told me that I was going to work and go to school and learn about the career that I really wanted to go into. So I signed up for the program. Did the seminar. Then they introduced me to SWD. I interviewed, got the job, and I started. And I'm not going to lie, it was a little scary walking into the building. I've never seen something like that before in my life. I've worked in landscaping, I did outdoor maintenance on tennis courts, I did catering as side gigs. I've never been in a field like SWD. But saying that, I had a lot of resources at my disposal to help me feel more comfortable, not only from my other maintenance guys or my mentor, but from other departments, management, HR. Everyone made sure I was comfortable and that I was okay with what was going on. They told me from the start, ask as many questions as you want. No question's a bad question. And let me tell you, I had a lot of questions. Like it was a lot to take in, but I got going with it. I learned really quick, and there was a lot to learn really quick, but I got more comfortable, and I started to fit in. And a year some later, I graduated from the program. One important thing to me was I was working, but I was also going to school. I don't do well in the classroom traditionally. I like to work with my hands. I like to touch stuff and work with things, and that gave me the opportunity to learn like that, which works a lot better for me. Future at SWD and all this, I advocate for this program all the time. I talk to different classmates I'm with. I talk to my friends outside of school. I advocate for this program now. I just finished mentor training. I have an apprentice I've been working with almost every day at this point. I'm trying to help him because I like to help other people who are in my situation and don't know exactly what they want to do or how to get to the point where I am at. And I really do advocate for the program. It does help a lot with, jump-started my career. It really pushed me to that next level, and I hope other people in my situation find out about it and they can get there too.
So I would like to open it up if anyone has any questions for Clayton or I just for a few minutes before we keep moving on with our program.
How many apprentices do you have in the program so far?
So right now, we currently have 3 active apprentices, and then Clayton was our first graduate from the program. So we started off just with 2 right at the beginning. Renato will be finishing early next year as well, so he'll be finishing up the program. Thank you. Yes, you're welcome.
What is it that you include within your apprenticeship program?
So we do industrial maintenance and mechatronics for our apprenticeship program. So we have 2 tracks. How our program is laid out is we actually have them, when they start, rotate through all of our departments. So they even go work on the dock for a couple days just to really get exposed to our entire organization. And then they are partnered with their mentor, who is really going to they're going to shadow them all of the time while they're on the job and learn the skills as they're going. And then they're taking the courses at College of DuPage at the same time, usually about 2 a semester. Any other questions? Nope. And I look forward to connecting with all of you afterwards as well. Please feel free. I have my cards. I can shoot me an email. I'm a huge advocate for this because it not only brings something back to my organization, but also the community. And when we really all work together, that's when great, amazing things happen, 100% of the time.
The interest kind of started, it was because of my machining class. I had no clue what I wanted to do after high school. It was like construction, welding, all these kinds of things. And then I started this manufacturing class, and that's where I fell in love with it because I was making something from scratch, and it's going to be put to use for something else. And I love that idea because you have to actually think about how certain things work, what you can and cannot do, and the trouble of actually figuring the process out. That just made my mind race, and it was like awesome. So I was like constantly thinking, which made it so much fun. higher ed and CODF like kind of helped me balance kind of both work and school, because they're kind of talking to see how we're gonna be able to get these classes in without really disrupting work. It's just one set day, only takes 1 hour out of my day, so that means I can just focus on work when I have to work, focus on school when I have to work. So it's been kind of nice and easy to maintain so far. I love it here. People are amazing, willing to help me every day with anything I need. That's awesome. So it's made it a really easy and actually, I would say kind of enjoyable going through all these processes, because you kind of meet new people, see what you can and cannot do. So it's been really enjoyable experience so far. It's been a great process working with everybody here, from HR to the head of the shop, Janusz. Everything's been so great because they're actually putting me in places where they know I'll get the introduction to the company very quickly and see what the company really is about. I'm learning so much every day. It's crazy how much I learned. Like, I've been having so much fun here. Everybody's constantly showing me new things, constantly putting new ideas in my head of what to, like, not what to think, but how to think in this industry. Kind of what you should look out for, what you should be prepared for. And so everybody's giving me so much information that it's like, I'm completely changing every day. My mindset of how certain things work, I'm turning into a whole new person every day. It's awesome.
I got great mentors that, that teach me anything. Whenever I have a question, they always answer for me. I never feel ashamed to ask the question. I'd say I have fun in every department, especially when I talk with the people, with my coworkers and everything. I think that's my favorite part. Just talking to everybody, creating relationship bonds.
So if you like building things, if you like making things, if you like problem solving, if you have a passion for the way things work and how things are made, this is a program for you.
I love that. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for having us. I want to thank Mayor Veenstra, the Chamber, the great speakers. Aaron obviously always crushes it in terms of communicating the opportunities with local businesses. We've got a great collection of folks that are in here, obviously the school side of it and all their support. So days like today are my favorite days. When we bring community around, solutions like this, and do it in a meaningful way. I work with an organization called GPS Education Partners. We started doing this work about 20 years ago, and we're founded within industry. Generac Power Systems identified the need to introduce young people to the world of work and manufacturing specifically. About 13 years ago, we spun off as a nonprofit and have since dedicated our time to developing work-based learning programming for manufacturing students in Wisconsin. And about 3 years ago, we said we can impact more communities, more businesses, and schools systematically to drive more impact for students. We know that the largest segment of unemployed people in the United States is who? It's 16 to 24-year-olds, right? We also know that the average age of a registered apprentice is 29 years old, okay? So these are lost opportunities that we have, and as a collective community, this is a big community challenge, and it takes a community to do this and do this well, okay? So we'll talk about some of the program options that are available in the community. Aaron did a great job sharing a number of things that they do as an organization. There are great opportunities with the school district to get involved and do your part to create these touch points for young people and connect education to the world of work. It's very important. So we'll talk about some of the program elements, timelines, how to participate, common questions. Aaron touched on a handful of them. But we want to hear your concerns and, again, ultimately invite your participation into the conversation. So we think about the journey holistically in helping connect young people to careers early. Dr. Rossetti has the responsibility of creating and preparing young people from elementary to middle and high school, okay? We do some of this work by connecting students to the world of work and kind of integrating how these connect much earlier. It could be in high school, or I'm sorry, in middle school, take your son or daughter to work day, right? We've heard about those things. We also do job fairs in connecting young people to what these careers could look like, or writing a book report, or aptitude and interest assessments that we do for young people. As they migrate from 8th grade to high school, they start getting, a little deeper entrenched. They have more electives to choose from. So systematically, districts are doing their part to identify areas of interest and put opportunities in front of students. As they migrate towards high school, we start looking at different ways to connect youth to the world of work. And this intersection is really important, okay? We start with tours, and we know that they have tremendous amount of impact. We did some tours last week, during Manufacturing Month, and I shared some of the results and the early data. We're tracking data and understanding what these impacts drive and how they influence young people's decisions. We had 53 students from Fenton complete a survey. Sophomores and juniors are eligible to participate in this program. Seniors are kind of like, already have their plan. Of half of those students were in the segment, 16 identified an area and next step that they wanted to take, looking at internship opportunities, looking at apprenticeship opportunities, and potentially looking at job shadows. So we know that these touch points are very impactful. And so finding opportunities and working through immersive work-based learning opportunities are the pieces that students are looking to connect with what's next. We also think about the journey and the continuation seamlessly into post-secondary. And working with Project Higher Ed, we work with students as they complete high school and help them successfully transition to a registered apprenticeship program, and working with you as the business to continue to maintain that relationship with the student from their junior or senior year all the way through a post-secondary opportunity. And so we know that businesses are making those investments, but the continuation and not having fragmented systems between an N for high school and a different recruitment cycle for post-secondary, we need to connect those dots, and we're doing a great job in making those connections, and Danielle will kind of share what the post-secondary journey looks like. But ultimately, what we need to do is help introduce young people to the world of work, right? Helping them understand the value, help them align to an attainable family career. We also know that it's important for them to develop the skills they need in order to be successful and continue to grow. We connect those dots between education and work, and through these programs, we help students realize that the more that they know, the more they can earn. And we do that through an authentic experience. It's also important from a business standpoint. We always hear about attract, develop, retain. These are ways that you can help maintain these relationships with those folks and these young people that you invest your time and attention to, and develop that core pipeline. We started working with 3 schools, and Mayor Venistra was one of the original folks that said, yes, we want to do this, along with Project Higher Ed. We started this work 3 years ago, and we've grown from 3 schools to 15 schools, a manufacturing pathway, an IT pathway. We'll be looking at others as well, as Dr. Rossetti mentioned. Aaron, I heard that you need IT, so we've got some people for you. But doing this as a collective community is really important. So I'm going to break down a little bit about how we get things started from the high school side of things in working with the high school. As we mentioned, it takes a village, truly, to get and set up these systems of support. So working with the superintendents at the schools, the assistant supers, the staff, the department heads, the counselors, the instructors, these folks in your community are supporting this work, okay? We need the same on the business side of it, okay? So when we develop and identify a student that's ready to join the program, this first part that Aaron kind of talked a little bit about, phase 1, think about it as a semester. We show them a variety of departments where you have resources and you have needs. within your environment, and we'll rotate them through. They might spend a week in one department, 3 weeks in another. Think about it as, a mile wide, an inch deep. We want to get them exposed to experiences, to cultures, to teams, to management styles, the world of work, okay? Second semester, we'll take a deeper dive and focus on higher employability skills, professional skills that go along with it, and provide a student an opportunity to do a deep dive in an area that they find most attractive to them, or narrow that field down so that we're helping identify the right person for the right seat. And the student has a voice in that conversation as well, right? So when students make those choices, they have the ability to, one, engage deeper and learn more, and it helps them align closer to your business and the careers that exist within it, okay? At the end, as students near completion at the end of graduation, we sit down with you and the student and we talk about what's next for them. We might invite Danielle in from Project Higher Ed and their case management team if a student's looking to continue on, and if your organization offers a registered apprenticeship or want to design one in real time, Project Higher Ed can help you continue that relationship with that student and continue to support them on their pathway. So it is a seamless transition. Some students might be looking for a direct hire opportunity, okay? And maybe looking for an entry-level opportunity. Others will be looking for college or continuing on to a four-year degree. But making those connections, we often hear about students coming back during holiday breaks and working with those employers that they first got introduced to and got exposed to some of these great careers. Many of them also come back over summer and intern with you from a college level standpoint. So maintaining and making these connections with youth early on, really important. And sometimes the dividends don't pay off right away. Sometimes students may make a choice and go, hey, I want to go jump ship and take a quarter raise down the street. And then they'll go learn that culture. And then 6 months later, they'll come back and go, you know what? I really enjoyed my time here, and I really appreciate your investment in me. And you'll find them coming back. It happens. So these are real, tangible experiences that students remember. On the front end, we work with the schools to identify students. The school districts help prepare students with safety, manufacturing. Those are big concerns. We do OSHA training with those students. We prepare them. They write resumes. They're prepared for mock interviews, so they're getting ready for the world of work. We help identify those students with the schools and working with those counselors. We'll do Zooms. We'll Zoom into classrooms. These great touch points around career awareness and exploration activities help identify those student hand raisers too that are coming out of these tours and career fairs. We also help map out opportunities within your environment where you can kind of connect and identify where students can get exposed to. We'll walk through your plants with you and identify hazardous areas that are kind of no-nos for students. Students can do a lot of great things. And we'll also develop a profile and put those opportunities in front of students. So we help you as a business on the front side and help continue it all the way and transition students as they complete towards some of these outcomes. So in terms of the business commitment, as Aaron mentioned, organizational support is incredibly important. So having executive operations, IT, HR, people involved in it, the more people that are invested in it, the better the results are. I'll just tell you that. You can't put this on one person, one group, or one department. It does take a collection of folks supporting students at the front line, working shoulder to shoulder with students. On the job training opportunities, we always want to think about scale. So we ask business partners to take a look at supporting more than one student. It helps you think about scale and capacity, and also it helps you understand how to work with different types of students, okay? Some students might be looking at a registered apprenticeship, some might be looking at a direct hire opportunity, and may find themselves in a different career path. One might be in fabrication, one might be in automation, okay? Commitment of 15 hours a week, as Aaron mentioned, it's traditionally in the afternoon, 2 to 3 hours a day. It's not a big lift. Cross-training is done in manufacturing places all over the place, all over the industry. So making sure that they've got access to skills coaches and mentors in different areas is really important. They get paid. We do ask partners to support assessments and evaluations. They're bi-weekly, and then we'll do a quarterly 360. We'll sit down with you. And again, it's about alignment, setting expectations, and understanding where students see themselves going and how you can best support them as an organization. And we also want to train them in areas where you as employers have direct hiring needs, right? Very important. So as we flip the script, there are a few common questions that typically come up from manufacturers, and we'll cover those. So we do offer students OSHA training in the classroom, and then many of you as employers also offer concurrent training for new employees around safety. So students are coming in with a baseline, and we're helping identify some of those early constraints or, scary topics for manufacturers. Not too scary. Aaron mentioned under 18. There are provisions that are supported by the Department of Labor. Nakia's here. She can attest to this. She's with Apprenticeship in Illinois here and represents our segment here. But students in this program are identified as student learners. We'll talk about what those qualifications are in just a minute on the next slide. Workman's comp and insurance, other areas that employers thinking about, right? Students that are enrolled in the program are employees of yours. They're part-time. So if they would happen to get injured on the workplace, they're treated just like a normal employee. It's very rare. It does happen, okay? Workman's comp, that is a requirement in the state of Illinois. Workman's comp premiums have to do with your industry, your location, the frequency of accidents that you have. It has nothing to do with age. Age is not a factor in workman's comp, okay? And the last one is, we'll also talk about the timeline. How can I get started? When are we looking to do this? We are recruiting students and business partners to support students for next fall. So we've got time to do this, and we'll walk through some of the steps that we'll go through. But I do want to touch base on some of the student learner provisions, which is the next slide. So this is an approved program by a local school authority, District 88. The Regional Office of Education is leading this as a regional office. One of very few in the state of Illinois, so the leadership that Dr. Rossetti in the ROE is providing is become an exemplar across the state. And I think you need to recognize that in the work that the ROE has done. They are receiving school credit, so as students come into your work environment, it's as if they're walking into their classroom at school. They're earning credit for these opportunities. Safety instruction, again, we touched on. Having mentors or skills coaches, resources that are available. The work is anything that's declared hazardous. It can be done intermittently, and there are some no-nos that we can certainly walk through you with. They're typically around forklifts, scissor lifts, overhead cranes, things like that. So student apprentices can do a lot in manufacturing places, and manufacturing youth apprenticeships are done throughout the country. So we can walk you through that process and make you feel comfortable with it. And then lastly, it's organized in a progressive way so that students understand they're learning foundational skills. Early on, they're getting trained with some basics, and then they can upskill and learn more as they grow confidence and validate those skills with you and your staff, okay? So with that, I'm going to share a little bit of the timeline. So we are recruiting, as I mentioned. We'll send out some information about how you can get involved as a business, okay? We'll set up some individual time with you and your staff. If you want to learn more, we'll talk about, get to know you and your business, your operations, some of the pathways that might exist within your organization. So we are a resource to you and your staff. January, February, we're beginning the recruitment cycle, and we're looking for businesses to commit during that time. So we want to make sure that every student that raises their hand, and there are lots that need a guaranteed opportunity for the coming fall. They register for classes in February for their upcoming year. So that's why that timeline is really important, getting businesses to commit. We do try to align students for interviews with businesses in May before they leave for summer break. So when they come back, they can get busy and they can get to work with you, okay? During the summer or any given point through that, we can help do a walkthrough with you, map out pathway opportunities, and set up some time with you and your staff. We'll do the training, as Aaron mentioned, really helpful in understanding how to work with young people. And then lastly, we'll set things off for you guys to be successful in supporting students in September when they return to school. Most students join up in August from the district standpoint in late August, but we'll be ready to start students just after Labor Day. And they'll spend that September to May with you. And this is a great opportunity to make those deep connections with students over the course of an academic year. So at the end of, prior to their graduation, you know who they are, what they're looking for, and whether you're willing to make an offer or continue to support them. So these transitions are important, and I want to make sure that we bring Project Higher Ed in and talk about the seamless transition between high school and post-secondary. So with that, Danielle.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Good morning, everyone. Glad to see so many faces here. I need to start by acknowledging that Addison is a special place. And as Dr. Russetti had mentioned in her comments, there's a special feeling that happens here in Addison, that Mayor Veenstra has convened this group of folks, that the district is so involved. Truly, the opportunities that I have with Project Higher Ed is because of the special things that happen here in Addison. So it is because of those conversations 3 years ago that apprenticeships really came to the forefront of the conversation of how we support our local workforce. From that, College of DuPage, which is where I work, came forward and said, we need to create something that addresses workforce development. And so that is how we created Project Higher Ed. It is a workforce development entity at COD, which is your local community college. So thank you to those folks who are in the room today who really were so fortuitous in anticipating what those needs are and the opportunities that we can create. I also just want to quickly introduce some folks from our team who's here. I have Josie Wallace in the back, who's our employer outreach coordinator, and Christina Lasorsa, who's here from Career Services, who's also a part of that work-based learning opportunity for students and is part of this ecosystem conversation. So with Project Higher Ed, we're here to help with that seamless transition from that high school experience that you just heard Jeff talk about and bring that to a post-secondary. So we come in and we'll work with our partners at the high school and with GPS to be able to look at who those students are who are coming out of their youth apprenticeship experience and identify if that's an opportunity to continue with you as the employer into a registered apprenticeship program for that candidate. What we do within that bridge or that hiring process is really try to make it as seamless and smooth as possible for you and for that student. We're really working on that career pathway, so we offer a number of different registered apprenticeship opportunities that you can plug that apprentice directly into. We've got some of them up here: electromechanical, mechatronics, facility maintenance, industrial maintenance, manufacturing, machining, CNC, and of course welding. And so those are all registered apprenticeship opportunities for those apprentices to plug right into as they are finishing up their high school experience. And I will also mention that that's also an opportunity for you to take current workforce, incumbent workers, and plug them into those opportunities. Apprenticeship isn't just for high school, though that is what we're focused on today, but there are opportunities for you to upskill current talent that you see the potential in. They can participate, as well as identifying a new talent pool. So I will say we often see students at COD who say, I'm part of that population Jeff talked about. Those unemployed 17 to 24-year-olds, I graduated and I bounced around for years between different types of jobs, trying to figure out what I was gonna do, and I was lost. I didn't know. I'm back at COD and I'm ready to start my career. And so what we're trying to do is stop that from happening, but we know that there are those folks who are out there, and so we can capture those folks and get them connected to opportunities in your organizations. So a few things that I wanna mention. The next slide, please. on supporting apprenticeships, you know, the benefits, particularly around a registered apprenticeship program, is that you're really looking at opportunities to connect directly to that talent pipeline. We have found for employers, you know, they're not having to work with agencies to bring in folks, that you're able to do that right from within your community, right from the high school, right from your local community college, and connecting into that talent pipeline and that referral system that Aaron talked about. We also have on our team, you know, we are really helping to upskill and to retain that talent. So we're seeing higher retention for people who are in an apprenticeship program. We have a dedicated case manager who helps provide additional support. So that is somebody who is right there lockstep with you and that apprentice to help make sure that if there are things that come up, we can help address them or make sure everybody's on the path to success. We also help our employers identify some alternative funding sources, so the employer does cover the cost of tuition, books, and fees while they are at COD, and that allows that apprentice then to get halfway to their associate's degree with a certificate from the college. So they're earning college credit that often makes mom and dad very happy, and they are happy to say, yes, you want to do this, I will support it. And then it will also allow that student the opportunity, if they want to continue, they can do that, pursue an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, advance into leadership opportunities or different opportunities, but at least gives them that certificate from COD. So we can help with providing alternative funding sources, and as a registered apprenticeship program, you are eligible for tax credits at the end of the year to help offset the costs that you've spent on that. So there's really some benefit to employers to participate in a registered apprenticeship program. Our commitment on the next slide is very similar to the commitments that you would participate in as a youth apprentice. The difference being this is full-time employment now. So we are taking someone who is a full-time student who does 2 to 3 hours a week at the high school level, and we're flipping that model. Now they're a full-time employee and they're a part-time student at COD, typically taking those 2 classes that Aaron talked about. You know, they might be coming to COD in the evenings and taking an evening class in our manufacturing lab. And so there's that opportunity for them to now move into a full-time position within your organization. It's the employer supports the tuition, books, and fees, and that allows that apprentice to get that post-secondary experience. I will also say, when you talk about the impact to communities and to our community and to Addison, we have many students in the apprenticeship program who would not be able to attend college or to have post-secondary experiences. They never thought college was for them. And then they started working in an apprenticeship program, and now they have that opportunity. That truly changes lives. It puts them and their family on a total different trajectory than what they were thinking about, or maybe they weren't thinking about. They didn't even know that was an option for them. So for many of our employers, it is so rewarding. We certainly appreciate Rick and his whole team at SWD for all they've done. And there's many great employers, particularly in Addison, who have really embraced this model and helped uplift their apprentices. The other piece, let's see, we also have assessments and evaluations. There is a wage progression, and those are all components that we are involved with in supporting and making it as easy and seamless as possible for those employers who engage in the apprenticeship model. We also similarly have supervisors, mentors, skills coach. You've heard from Aaron already all the good things that I wanted to talk about. We have mentor training. We have opportunities to help make this a seamless experience for our employers. But we are here to help address your workforce development needs and to be able to use apprenticeships as a pathway to do so. So with that, I'm going to bring Jeff back up so we can really talk about this ecosystem and all the partners that are involved. And some of them are in the room today. Others are not here, but it takes many people to lift this work up and to move it forward. So I'll turn over to Jeff.
All right, I'm back. Fresh coffee. Look out. No, but it does, I mean, truly, when we talk about doing these things, one of the most difficult things about doing work-based learning or apprenticeship program is trying to scale it and grow it and do it consistently. It takes systems, it takes teams, it takes community work This is a community challenge that needs to be solved by a collective community of people that are investing in the work and dedicated to making sure it lasts. So there are workforce development partners that are in the room. It starts with businesses. We want and need more businesses to participate in this work, create extensions to youth, open your doors. We're working with WorkNet DuPage, TMA as an industry partner. You'll hear from them. They're an extension. They represent the voice of industry. Symbol is here. These are other opportunities from a workforce development standpoint that provide opportunities to support youth where you can choose your own journey as a business, and students can certainly choose their own journey as they kind of embark on their career. So having partners at a variety of different levels supported across communities is really important. Dr. Rossetti was able to gain some support from the county as well to help fund this initiative. So funding this work is really important. Doing it at a regional level, incredibly important as well, so that it doesn't go away. Everyone wants the pilot programs, but the difficulty is sustaining them and growing them. And so we need to continue to grow and build capacity. We also have economic development agencies, Choose DuPage is involved in this work, so that the work that's being done is being reflective of what's driving the DuPage community. So supply chain is a big one. Manufacturing, obviously a big one. Healthcare, another big one. So we're addressing the needs at a variety of systematic levels, but it needs to have local support, right? We're talking about local students from local schools that need to be connected to local businesses in order to make it work, right? So we need everyone investing in the same way. On the education side, it's also there. Dr. Rossetti's working with the Illinois School Board of Education, obviously her office, and then the 23 districts within DuPage County. We've got 15 that we're working with currently. The plan is to have pathways being supported at every school for every student. So we're investing in this, and we need more people to invest with us in this work. And so, you know, part of this is really about inviting that and maintaining that. So driving community impact, how can you be involved? Having an ecosystem of support, really important. It does support the diversity, access, equity equation. We do need to think about those students that might not be ready. I know that Aaron and a variety of organizations that I currently work with that are part of your community are supporting different folks that have disabilities or incumbent workforce programs or refugee. We need to make sure that we're providing opportunities to great careers, thinking about scale and sustainability as I talked about. And there's ways that you can engage and support. You can be an advocate of this work. By your presence here today, you are an advocate or interested party in learning more about how you can become part of this. The invitation is there. Folks like Aaron, TMA, the district, they're being advocates of this work right now here in your community as well and helping promote it, sharing their story, how to connect the dots. Convening and partnering. Thank you to the village here for convening this audience today. I know that local chambers have also done the same work in bringing business community together and inviting them. MRA, human resource organizations that are provide these sort of workforce development solutions to their members. And so connecting with different convening groups, really important. Choose DuPage has done some great work in enlisting some of the leaders across the community to make these things happen as well. And then just making sure that you've got the resources and supports that you need in being a resource yourself. So ways that you can participate. I think we have the next one here. Yeah. No, yeah. All right. So ways that you can do it, places you can play. Convening and recruiting businesses, obviously, this is an opportunity. The invitation is there. We want to increase capacity for students. Anytime that we build more capacity, so if we've got capacity for 75 students, We're going to take that capacity back to all the schools and go, the community's here to support you. And so we'll go back to each of those 15 schools and go, hey, how do we fill these students? Take advantage of these placement opportunities. My job is to make sure I'm always building ahead of student interest. So I'm going to be, if you're not ready to sign up today, I'll be knocking on your door 3 weeks from now or 6 months from now. And Emily, I've done it. So thank you for being here. Co-host an event, talk about apprenticeship programming, join a webinar, present the program to local businesses. If you're currently involved in the work, bring someone else to the table. Bring one friend, one business, talk about this, share with your social network, really important. Endorse the program, share it on social media. Our business partners do that, they're advocates, promote it. Share your testimonials. We heard from Aaron, we have other businesses in the room that are doing youth apprenticeship. Get to know them. Who else is doing youth apprenticeship in the room? Some of our current partners. We missed them. They're here. I know they're here, or they didn't make it, but they were registered. So we got Aaron's going to carry all the water again and provide all the testimonials you need about how to make this work. But promote it. If you want to become an employer of choice, talk about how you support your employees, how you develop talent, and how you open doors to the young people and provide opportunities for all people in your community. That's a key message for you. Join the recruitment efforts, be part of things like today, support career info sessions. We are also getting parents involved in some of this work. So when we do some of that early recruitment, we get parents to understand what this program looks like for their student. And so bringing the voice of business to those conversations and extending the invitation to parents to come view your operations and how you as an industry are going to support their students, really important and really impactful in getting them to open their doors. And then hosting job shadows, tours, things that students are looking for, what's next. It takes a variety of different touch points to help connect these dots to students, and the variety is really important. So we've got to do it and do it often to make it last. And then lastly, you can certainly, as how you can help and grow, take 4 apprentices. We can get there much quicker. But one-to-one sort of relationships with businesses don't provide us the opportunity to scale. So we need businesses to think about how I can support multiple students in different areas with the resources that you have. And this rotation and some of the things that we've shared and we can work with you on will help you do that. So the invitation is there, but right now we are really here to kind of share some of the other programs that are in the community. So I would love to invite Tommy and Lee out from TMA to talk about some of the opportunities that they have for businesses to choose your own adventure. They've got some great programming as well, whether it's a boot camp or their apprentice programs in different areas. And then we're gonna get ready to do some celebration, right?
Thank you. Awesome. Well, hello, everybody. Good morning. My name is Lee McConnell, and I'm with TMA. So I don't know, maybe some of you guys are really familiar with TMA, but we stand for the Technology and Manufacturing Association. We've been around since 1925. And just to kind of paint a little bit of a better picture of who we represent, but we have about 625 manufacturers, all locally in the Chicagoland area, and about 88% of those manufacturers have anywhere from 1 to 100 employees. So we really focus on those small to mid-sized companies. But I know a lot of us, or a lot of companies that do know about us, they are very familiar with our apprentice program. So it's been around, at least as far as I could track, since 1950. So super long time. We've graduated over 7,000 or 7,500 apprentices, and a lot of them, which is really cool to see, is like they've become business owners today of their companies that they started with. So we truly believe in apprenticeships. That's not a new thing. It's definitely become a hotter buzzword, but definitely there has been a shift, right? That the schools maybe before were not so career focused as they are today. They were, as we are all aware of the skills gap, they are really pushing
careers, and it's just, I think, a great opportunity that one of the first careers they're looking at or industries that they're looking at is manufacturing, because there's just such a variety. Even, great point is that they're expanding to IT, and we have a manufacturing company looking for IT. I mean, there's just endless options. There's accounting, there's HR. They're a business at the end of the day, right? And they have those normal jobs that everybody's aware of. But TMA is just super supportive of this program since the start, and mainly because it is so turnkey. I mean, TMA does a lot of different things besides apprentice training. And so being able to provide our members with a solution, those that are in the DuPage area, of how to get involved with connecting with their communities and their high schools. And not only how to get involved and how to get connected, but there's this great program that already exists. They have wonderful staff that help support not only on the company side, but on the student side, and how important that is for a student to feel supported, especially in, something we have to keep in mind that all of their friends, their family, they're thinking that college route, Apprenticeship is still sometimes a little like, not for my kid, It sounds great, opportunities sound great, but, not for my son or daughter. And that's just, couldn't be more wrong, because, as we know, and all of you that are manufacturers, it can just provide you endless opportunities. We become homeowners. We have a car. We don't live in a box or a van down by the river. Like, we're very, very well off individuals, and help make the world go round, right? Without things being made, how is our economy supposed to exist? And so that's just a little bit of, I guess, why TMA is just so involved. Again, just easy. If I have a company looking for, and it's like never ending, I'm trying to hire talent. All I have to do is introduce them to Jeff, and they're able to kind of run off to the races. But another key part of, besides connecting employers to this program, TMA is able to kind of provide that post-secondary opportunity for the students that it makes sense to, okay? Because we focus on CNC, mold making, and tool and die. So for students that are in this program and they're going on and committed to an employer who provides those, or is within those industries, we're able to kind of help continue their education after high school. One of the last things I'll mention is just the kind of something that's special and that we pride ourselves on as far as our apprentice program goes, is that we have our instructors, they work full-time during the day as well, just like the students, and then they come and they teach for us in the evening. So we are truly for industry, built by industry. And, it's going to sound super cheesy, but our instructors, they're not doing it for the money. They're just doing it to give back to an industry that gave so much to them. And, they remember their instructors when they went through the program, and they want to just kind of help bring up that next generation. So it definitely does give a different feel for the classroom. All the students, they're employees, they're of industry too. They're taking those skills that they're learning in the evening, and then they're being able to apply them on the job the next day, and that allows us to really keep the topics more advanced and really fly through a lot of material when we have them for 6 hours in the evenings each week. So I could talk forever, so I'm going to stop myself. And I'm just glad that you guys are all here today, especially the fact that not many of you guys were able to raise your hand saying that you had youth programs. So it's really not always about what you know, but who you know, and just exposing yourself to the resources and knowing that literally, it's not just TMA that's here, or it's not just your local community college, but it's really like the whole village and region is here to help support what, this initiative and what we believe in. So I'm so glad that Jeff invited me out here to talk to you guys. And if you guys have any questions, I'll stick around too later on to connect.
All right, well, good morning, everyone. Just wanted to thank Mayor Veenstra and Alyssa and the Village of Addison team for having me here. Great to be here. Again, I'm the Director of Workforce Development at Symbol Training Institute. So what we do, we're an advanced manufacturing training provider, but our roots are actually in the advanced manufacturing field. We actually started out back in the mid-'80s as a tool and die shop, so we really have that feel for what the manufacturers need. And obviously we have many connections in the industry as a result of that. We have very close ties with the manufacturing industry. Initially, we actually started out only training incumbent workers from the manufacturers, and over the years, we started training more and more individuals who were looking to get into the industry. So we had designed a very fast-track CNC training course because actually, as our time as a tool and die shop, we couldn't understand why we couldn't find any locally grown talent. So we decided to do something about it. This was about in the mid-2000s where we established our CNC training school. Since then, we've shut down, obviously, our tool and die shop, so there's no conflict of interest there. And we started these courses, a very fast-tracked 4-month training course where we're teaching individuals CNC machinery as well as QC. And we try and start courses monthly, alternating between morning and evening courses, so we do have a very flexible schedule for our classes for really anyone, the manufacturers and any individuals looking to get into the industry. And also we provide job placement assistance for all of our students, and that also entails many manufacturers coming in. Any manufacturers in this room, of course, you're always welcome to come in, talk to our classes. That's a great way for them to recruit our students. And really, that's one of the best ways. Actually, recently, a couple of months ago, or a couple of weeks ago, we teamed up with the Village of Addison. District 88 High School. It was a very successful job fair that we hosted right here at our training center in Addison. We had about 70 participants coming in there and about 20 plus manufacturers there. So it was a great event. Many job offers were offered out that day, and just a great way to bridge that gap and have the job seekers actually get in touch with the manufacturers. And obviously, we work very closely with the village, as well as WorkNet DuPage, who will be talking after me as well. But that's one of the main things. We're here for the community, for the industry. I can get really into any manufacturer's doors because I have the main commodity that they're always looking for, and that is the labor and talent of our students and our alumni. So I'm always here to help. And Alyssa, I don't know if you could play our little video that was actually done very well by the Village of Addison, just featured our school here in Addison. Hi, I'm Tom Peters. I'm the Director of Workforce Development at Symbol Training Institute, and welcome. So we're located right here in the Village of Addison at 1413 West Jeffrey Drive. We're about a block away from the Vehicle Emissions Testing Center, so very easy to find. So we've been in Addison close to a decade, and we are loving it.
Hi, I'm Diana Peters. I'm the Executive Director of Symbol Training Institute. So we provide skilled workers for the workforce. So we do training, and then we also help the manufacturers find their skilled talent.
Within 4 months, we will not only train you, you'll get a new skill set, a new lease on life, a new really marketable, employable skill set, and then we help place you to work. So it's a wonderful turnkey operation here.
So Symbol started out as a manufacturing company almost 4 decades ago, and we transferred it into a training facility because we saw the great need for skilled workers, and we decided we have to do something about it. So now we're providing service to our manufacturing community.
So Symbol is known for, obviously, our high quality, reliable workforce and talent pipeline that we could provide for the manufacturers. So we not only train incumbent workers, but we will also train people who are new to the industry.
So Symbol came out from our tool and die shop, which was Symbol Tool, and also Symbol is symbol of excellence. So we like to keep the symbol when moving into the training facility.
We started out in Skokie, Illinois, and now we moved out to Addison, Illinois a decade later, really on the demand that a lot of the manufacturers were out here in the O'Hare or in DuPage County area, particularly in the Addison area, so that's why we chose Addison as our second location.
So women are the biggest untapped market for the manufacturing community. And I sat on the board for Women in Manufacturing for Illinois for a few years, and we were promoting and advocating for women in this field. And there is so much opportunity, and there is wonderful growth for women, and we just want to make sure that they're aware that this is a career for them. We are the #1 CNC training facility, and we train and provide skilled workers for manufacturing community. So anyone who is interested in getting into this field, you can come in, take a tour. You can visit our website at www.symboltraining.edu and learn more about what we do.
Actually, I will say that was the one time we've ever had a drone filming in our facility, so that was pretty cool. And so that's pretty much sums up what we do. Obviously, all of our instructors, they're real world. They, similar to with TMA, they work in the field full time, and they really do have a passion for what they do. And that's just a great relationship building way for the students to get in. Actually, we have a couple instructors who work at manufacturers right here at the Village of Addison who have hired even many of our students upon graduating. So it's a great kind of next step for them. I do have one big ask, at least for the manufacturers in the room. I know obviously skilled labor is very, it comes at a premium these days, and anyone that you can get it, that's wonderful. But we're always on the lookout if, for instance, if you're interviewing people and maybe that they don't work out for you, feel free to refer them to us, and we can get them trained up at least so they'll have the skill set. So maybe next time you do interview them, they could be your hire. So again, thank you everyone, and we're very happy to be part of this whole network and framework, and we're big advocates of this apprenticeship and obviously getting more of our youth involved to do that. So thank you again, appreciate it.
All right, Jeff is back again. I'm going to leave. We're here to celebrate. So, in summary, make a commitment, understanding that you can do more. What does it look like? Let's figure out ways to collaborate. You don't have to do it all. We can start slow. But the most important part is start developing your talent today by getting involved in some level. So we'll be sharing out some resources provided by all the partners, our great ecosystem of supporters around this work, but we do want to recognize and celebrate. So
we're gonna bring a quiz out. No, I'm just kidding. I know that's a lot of information, so don't worry. When I send a kind of recap at the end, you guys will have links to everything, everybody's contact information, and if we can push the slides out, we will as well. So at this time, I'm going to ask Rich to come back up, and we're going to present the proclamation. So thank you guys so much for your patience, and let's do some celebrating.
Well, at the very beginning, I think it was 2 or 3 days ago when we started this, I had mentioned that all the pieces were here, and you are here. I think what really is needed now is everyone to promote, to push, and to get involved. So for the manufacturers that are here, talk to your neighbors, get them involved, get them to be part of what we've started here. The only way we're going to be ultimately successful is by their involvement. So again, thank you all for being here. Clearly the Village of Addison is committed, and we have a proclamation proclaiming November 14th through the 20th to be National Apprenticeship Week. Whereas National Apprenticeship Week is celebrating its 8th anniversary of raising awareness of the vital role registered apprenticeship provides in creating opportunities by allowing apprentices to earn while they learn and preparing a pathway to good quality jobs and well-paying careers in the Village of Addison and across the nation. And whereas registered apprenticeship programs enable employers to develop and train their future workforce while offering career seekers affordable paths to secure high-paying jobs. And whereas the Village of Addison recognizes that registered apprenticeship, a proven and industry-driven training model, can train our workforce and build a pipeline into good quality jobs in order to address our nation's pressing workforce challenges, such as rebuilding our country's infrastructure, addressing critical supply chain demands, supporting a clean energy workforce, modernizing our cybersecurity response, and responding to care economy issues. Now, therefore, I, Rich Veenstra, Mayor, do hereby proclaim November 14th through the 20th to be National Apprenticeship Week in the Village of Addison and commend the role of the program in our community. So, Danielle, if you'd accept this. COD has been a tremendous partner in working with us and with District 88 and Project Higher Ed. We were thrilled to be a partner and a pilot for it, so we want to thank you. And again, thank you all for being here.